Good morning, students. Today we'll be doing the last chapter of geography, that is human resources. So in this chapter we'll be studying about the what are the resources and why human itself is a main resource for himself, because humans are only regenerating things. They are only the one resource that they make use of things which they arrange in a systematic way, in orderly way, to function, to work the other resources, to work or go in a systematic way as it is functioning, or as it is available as a natural resources and other resources which is main provided by nature, and we humans have to protect that resource, and that's why we are the main resources that we will be talking about this chapter, and other aspects of the resources, another what is that populations, changing patterns of populations, and why the people are differentiated, and why people are separated into different other regions, other platforms in other according to the climate and weather, and how many people are and occupied in this earth, and how they are what is that separated by each other, and with their looks, with their languages, with their customs, cultures, everything that will be seeing. So let's begin. People are a nation's greatest resource. Here, the first line tells that the people itself are the nation's its greatest resource. Means main resource are only people, we people. So nature's bounty becomes significant only when people find it useful. So whatever things that is provided by nature, it becomes useful when it comes to in our use, when we make something, when we get food from the nature, then only becomes a resource for us. So in that way, it is people with their demands and ability that turns them into resources. So people's, according to their that is that necessity, what they need, accordingly that resources come to its use. So hence human resource is the ultimate resource. So we ourselves are the very superior from all these resources. We ourselves are the very high resources of all. So healthy, educated and motivated people develop resources as per their requirement. So those who are what is that what is we are working for something, to gain something, right? So in that way they find their resources through doing hard work, or doing whatever in a way they want to be. So in that way they find their requirements through doing these resources. So human resources, like other resources, are not equally distributed over the world. So human resources are not distributed equally in according to land, surface, water and all. So they are very separated and very different from each other. So they differ to their educational levels, ages and sex. So their numbers and characteristics also are keep changing. So in the people in different various areas in various countries, different countries, we see according to their custom, languages, traditions, we see the people differ from place to place according to the climate, according to the distribution of the land is there. So in every places, in every country, we see the people differ from place to place. So first we'll be seeing about the distribution of population. So India is the second what is that populated country in the world. The first one is China. So the way in which people are spread across the earth's surface is known as the pattern of population distribution. The way that we see that in the what is that area of a land where we see the people differ from place to place. So that is called the pattern of population distribution. So people are distributed accordingly. So more than 90% of the world's population lives in about 30% of the land surface. So we know that the whole 70% of the water is occupied by land, is covered with water. Only 30% of the land surface is occupied by the human beings. So in that also 90% of people are living. This distribution of population is the world's in the extremely uneven. So it is not in orderly way, it's differently everywhere. So some areas are very crowded, some are very sparely populated. So in some places we see too much crowdy. Towns are filled with a lot of buildings, houses, and all right. So the crowded areas are South and Southeast Asia. So the most of the crowded area we see here, the names of the countries: Southeast Asia, Europe, and Northeast North America. So very few people live in high altitude areas, tropical deserts, high mountains, and areas of the equatorial forest. So in these areas, only very few people we see, like villages, rural areas, and all only we see. And we will be seeing most of the crowded places like urban areas, towns, cities, and all. So many more people live north of equators than south of the equators. Almost three quarters of the world's people live in the two continent, Asia and Africa. So in this south, what is Asia and Africa, we see these continents. Most of them they are living in this continent only. The 60% of the world's population stay in the 10 countries. All of them have more than 100 million people. So in these 10 countries, we see each country is having what is that, more than 100 million people. So we see one graph is given here. So population in millions. So first one is a number comes in China, then India, USA, then the country goes on like that. Next topic is density of population. So the number of population. Population density is the number of people living in a unit areas of the Earth's surface. It is normally expressed as a person square kilometer. The average density of the population in the whole world is 51 person per square kilometer. Then South Central Asia has the highest. South Asia as a central means that is the highest density of population, followed by the East and Southeast Asia. Means in these areas only we see the most population is filled the what is that located, or people stay there in these areas in Southeast Asia and east of this Asian countries. So here one example is given, like we'll be reading that. When all of the 30 students are present in a classroom, seems very crowded. 30 students are present in one classroom, but when the same class is seated in the school assembly hall, it seems it is very open and very empty. Because why? The places differs. The place differed means in one classroom there may be only 30 seats and it is crowded and occupied by all, but in the hall the space might be more, and that's why it will be looking empty. So that way the places how the people are populated means they are distributed according to the areas. So because of the size of the area of the hall is much large than the classroom, however, when all the students of the school come into the hall too starts looking crowded. So in that way we see the people are or the what is that, their population is distributed accordingly. So that is the example given here from places to different places. Next topic is factors affecting distributions of populations. So geographical factors. First one will be seeing the topography, means the areas of the top level of the land surface. This is areas which is up and down like that. So people always prefer to live in a plains rather than mountains and plateaus, because these areas are suitable for farming, manufacturing, and service activities. So people will be finding difficult to live in mountains because they will be not getting water. Other facilities may be difficult to get easily, so that they would live to live in areas where it's very plain and they will be getting everything very easily. So they can do farming, manufacturing, every activities very smoothly. So the Ganga plains are the most densely populated areas of the world, while mountains like Andes, Alps, and Himalayas are sparsely populated. So we can see how the areas of mountainary places where mostly sparsely we see people like villages and all, they used to stay, and Ganga, near the Ganga Plains we see mostly densely populated and very areas are filled, crowded. Next one is what is the difference affecting the distribution? That is first, second as factors is climate. So people usually avoid extreme climates that are very hot or very cold, like Sahara Desert, polar regions of Russia, Canada, and Antarctica. So according to the climate, also they prefer to live in a such a medium way where they may be having a comfortable weather, so they can live their life easily. In that way, they also climate also differs. Next one is soil. Fertile soil provides suitable lands for agriculture. Fertile plains such as Ganga and Brahmaputra in India, Hawang, Hague, Chang, Jingang, and China, and the Nile in Egypt are densely populated. So, according to the soil, also they live in the different areas where they could grow or where things are easily available for them. According to the soil, also affects the population of the people. Next one is topic is water. Water, how it affects. People prefer to live in areas where fresh water is easily available. The river valleys of the world are densely populated, while deserts have spare population, because we know the desert we don't get any water in very hot weather. So people we would prefer to live in a water area where easily they may find water. Next one is minerals. Areas with minerals deposits are more populated. Diamonds mines in South Africa and discovery of oil in Middle East leads to the settling of people, because they will be getting more work there. They'll be getting some of the earnings from there, from the income from there, so they can do work. So people also would like to settle in such places where they will find some of the resources for their what is that feedings. Next one is social, cultural, and economic factors. So in social, what we see, social means people. Areas of better housing, education, and health facilities are more densely populated. Like Pune, we see one example is given. So socially, if there are in the social our society, if there are available everything, house, education, water, everything is available, so people would like to settle mostly in that places. Next one is culture. Cultural places with religions and cultural significance attract people, like Varanasi, Jerusalem, Vatican City, and some other examples are very cultural background people where they more give preferences, where they more practice the religion. So people also settle in such would like to settle in that places. Next one is economic. So industrial areas provide employment opportunities. Large number of people are attracted to these areas. Then Osaka in Japan and Mumbai in India are the two densely populated areas. So where there are more what is that production is done, where there are more wealth is gaining from for themselves, for their livability. So they will be preferring to stay in such areas where they may find economic more production of things which will be gaining from will benefiting for their lives. So this also affects the staying of the people or population of the areas.